Welcome to Road to Billions podcast, the mentality of an entrepreneur. With your host, Moise Bertrand.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your host, Moise Bertrand, the Road to Billions podcast. It's been an amazing journey, you guys. Honestly, I feel as if we're making progress. I'm making progress into the new year. There's been a lot of things I've been taking care of that I didn't take care of. You get me? And I'm circling back now because it's about to be the fourth quarter of the year. And I'm just kind of seeing where is everybody in my life? How's everything running? What should be done differently? And how could I take advantage of different opportunities? And I made this podcast specifically for business credit because this whole series, right, Road to Billions, it's for entrepreneurs, it's for business owners, right? It's not for the person who is scared to take that risk. It's not for this podcast is not for anybody who just want to hear my voice. This is a podcast strictly for those who are actually going to take the information and apply it. Because if I'm giving you guys this information, I could just be charging someone else thousands of dollars for this, which I still do, but they just want one-on-one. But I'm letting you guys know your guys is still getting that. You guys are still getting that information. It may not be as detailed. You may not have my number. You may not be able to talk to me personally every day, but the information is out there, and that's why I provide it to you guys through this podcast, through free classes, through DMs. If you ever get a chance to reach out to me, I will do my best and try my best to get back to you. I know people in the past said I'm a horrible texter. I'm trying to get better with a social media manager now who's going to take care of things for me. Shout out to her, but we're doing great things. You feel me? And I want you guys to understand that great things, they don't come overnight. So business credit, right? We talk about it. We want to be about it. Are we really going to do it? So like I mentioned before, this podcast is for those who obviously are not only business owners, but who are aspiring to change or make a difference in their life. And business credit is one of the things that's going to take over your life and change it drastically for the better. But you got to set yourself in position before you do any of that or have access to any of that money, right? It's free money the way I look at it, right? You're flipping money. So obviously, in order to obtain business credit, you first have to have a legit state-registered LLC. So when you have these LLCs registered, you have to have an EIN number they could get for free, irs.gov, and search bar at the top, EIN, apply for a free EIN number, start the application, good to go, right? Never let nobody charge you for that. That's just a tip. If they charge you for an EIN number, you're getting ripped. So yeah, we're moving forward. You got the EIN number, you got your LLC up and running. Now you could go to any of the sites, nav.com, Uline, and of course start a membership. But before you do those, I'm sorry about that, guys. You got to get a Duns and Bradstreet number. Google Duns and Bradstreet number. It's free. You can register for your business. Obviously, it's something that's going to be used entirely perpetuity until you die, right, for your business. You can't lose this number. You can't replace this number. You can't keep doing things, and then expecting this number to just hold on to your number. Because I know people, they get assigned the Duns and Bradstreet number, then they don't know the number, and then they don't use the number, and then now the number go expired. Now you got to reapply for one. It's a whole headache. You get me? So what I'm saying is just start using it as soon as possible when you get it. Don't let it go to waste, and make sure you remember the number as well and keep it safe somewhere. You can go to any of the websites like I was mentioning before I switched subjects. Before I went back, nav.com, uline.com, and you have all these other small net 30 accounts, which are accounts that you pay off in 30 days that's going to boost the business credit. So this is pretty much how it's lined up, you guys. You guys have this personal credit of yours. Cool. If you have bad credit, cool. If you have good credit, cool. It doesn't matter what business credit, right? Why doesn't it matter? Because when you're first established LLC, you're getting a Duns and Bradstreet number that has a credit score of 0. You have a paydex score now 0. It's like a new baby being born, right? New baby born, it has no sins, it have no problems. That baby is entirely pure, right? Nothing has touched that baby. So what I'm saying is the paydex score and Duns and Bradstreet number is your baby. You build it up, you nourish the baby, you keep the baby well alive by getting trade lines, right? So trade lines are lines of credit that appear on the business credit, which you will apply for through NAV and Uline, that reports to Paydex, that shows this credit is actually being used and being taken care of, and that it's growing, right? So when you get the Uline account from the Duns and Bradstreet, because you got to use the Duns and Bradstreet number to apply for Uline and NAB, because it's going to directly link it up to your business credit score. You're now establishing business credit. You're now establishing a trade line. You give me net 30 accounts is what you start off with. It's pretty much a tier 1 business credit funding. And what you're doing is you're just essentially just taking a credit card that you have in there, any business credit card. I'll say any business credit card. Any of the trade lines that are available on there, whether it's I've seen things from like toiletry to like Amazon, stuff like that. You could just use these different net 30 accounts to build up the business credit, right? So then you start moving up after 3 months. You have a good amount of credit lines on there. You're good to go. It's showing strong reporting. You're now able to increase your credit limits by applying for real business credit cards with banks and in-store credit cards. For example, Sam's business credit card. You can apply for them once you have a great paydex score after you completed the first tier, which is after 3 months. You get me? So you just can't get a paydex score, get a business Duns and Bradstreet number, and help it run to every part of the world and expect people to give you money because you have everything, right? But you necessarily didn't establish the credit. You didn't really give the credit a rapport. You didn't give it a traction. You didn't get a trajectory, right? So no one's seen the credit go from 0 to 80, or no one ever seen the credit go from 0 to whatever the highest it was. They have to see that continuously for 3 months straight to ensure that not only you are paying, but you also have that you also can maintain the trade line, right? It's showing them that your longevity, you're not in it for the short term. You know, you obviously paying your bills on time, and things are reporting, so you know what you're doing. And then you're going off to these stores and in-store credit cards, like I said, Home Depot, Sam's credit card, and all these little small in-store credit card homes, because you're now able to apply for it through your business credit card. Now, all they're going to do is probably do like a little soft or hard inquiry on your personal credit, but that's cool because, like I said, once you establish business credit and you're now using business credit cards, you no longer have to worry about it being on your personal, right? So you could blow this business credit card money. I wouldn't advise you to do that, but you're using this money to offset the cash and balances that you already have. So you're not liquidating your funds 24/7 to get to the next bag, right? You're not liquidating all your personal assets and savings to maintain a relationship or to maintain certain things that's going on in the business, right? Like expenses that you really don't want to pay for, internet, all that bullshit. You're getting these things put on the business credit card. So when you're getting this business credit card, it's offsetting your rent. It's offsetting your costs. You could pay your rent on there as well. You feel me? There's a lot of things you could do. Save all that cash, pay the credit card back at the end of the month or pay it half off, and then boom, now you're showing that you're paying the payments. You feel me? You want to just try to keep as much cash as possible on your person, because you being someone who obviously likes money, everybody likes money, right? I never met someone who didn't like money. The only person I met who didn't like money, I don't know. But anyways, I just caught myself in the whole tongue twister. Anyways, like I was saying, bro, like the business credit card, it offsets a lot of your personal cost and expenses, and that just helps you with a lot of things that goes on in your daily life. So pretty much if you have a job and you have a business credit card, perfect. Now you're able to balance and offset all those things that you would normally pay with hard cash with business credit card. Don't mind if business credit cards are offering you 10, 20, 30, 40K and you feel like it's too much risk. Take it all. You know, the best thing you could do right now in this economy is try to get as much funding and much capital on yourself as possible and putting it back into markets like real estate or crypto or gold. You get me? Because we all seen how the trajectory of everything is going right now, and it's kind of sick. You know, it's kind of dark, and things are gonna change, but you have to be in position to change. You know, you have to be in position to play with the big boys. If you don't got no money, you're gonna be fucked. You get me? So this is the way you go get the money. You go establish business credit. You go liquidate these credit cards, or you go start paying for things that normally would have been running through your cash, and now you have a lot more money on deck, right? And the beauty about business credit, you can establish for many LLCs. So at the same time you establish it for one LLC, you can open up another LLC and do the same thing. 3 LLCs do the same thing. So now you have 3 LLCs running 3 business credit cards and 3 paydex scores. Now you have 3 accessible ways to get money. You feel me? If you ever go broke or anything like that, tap into that business credit card. It's okay because I'm an entrepreneur and I went broke many times to make sure that I was fed, to make sure that my rent was paid, to make sure my car note was paid. And I had to go through extreme measures sometimes to try to make some money. You get me? Sometimes I had to save $10, $15, you feel me, a day to make my goal by the end of the month because I was still short a little bit. And if I spent anything more, I would be fucked. So that's what I'm saying. The business credit card came in handy for me when I started noticing that a lot of my friends and peers who were in real estate going crazy. And I'm like, yo, how? Business credit card, bro. Get it going and go stupid. So I appreciate everybody who's been teaching me about business credit card prior to it becoming popular, prior to it becoming a thing, because a lot of people squander time spending money on bullshit, liabilities and things that don't really make no money for them. You get me? I'm 25, turning 26 real soon. And the biggest thing that I learned in my life was that my time is very valuable. You get me? If people are willing to pay me thousands of dollars for my knowledge in real estate, why would I just go spend that type of time somewhere bullshitting if I'm not really going to be making no money? Now, I understand I don't want to quote myself and say leisure time or social time isn't needed. But what I'm saying, majority of the time is if you know you got to be somewhere, if you know you got to make some money, if you know that the people or places or things that you're hanging around aren't helping you elevate your life, let alone you're not where you want to be at, you want to start considering different ways of like getting to like the real goal and changing your circle, right? There's nothing wrong about re-changing the people you're around and reshaping and re-identifying yourself as someone new. You get me? When I learned about business credit card, it opened my mind to a whole different way of making money. It opened my mind up to different opportunities that I necessarily didn't have the opportunity to be invested in. If I had 10 grand and that's all I had saved up and someone needed 10 grand for a deal, I couldn't do it. But if I got 10 grand capital and I got 10 grand business credit card and I got 2 credit cards that got 10 grand on each on it, business credit cards, because I got 2 LCs, that's 20 bands, right? I could still liquidate one of those things and give that person 10 grand. And more than likely that 10 grand is going to turn into 15 or 20. I just paid off that credit card. And then not only that I not paid off that credit card, I made profit on it, $0 out my own personal. So I have zero liability because if that deal went fucked up, that 10 grand was just 10 grand I just lost on a business credit card, and it wouldn't affect me personally on my personal credit card. It wouldn't be no type of debt or loan that I have to pay back personally. You get me? It's on the LC, and what I mean by that is it won't show up on your personal credit report. You get me? It'll just be like it's just something you just took out and just nothing never happened to you, technically speaking. But what I'm saying is you don't want to have that mindset to say, oh, fuck it. You want to have that mindset to have those fundings and things in position, that capital, and people also in capital who are willing to not only lend you that money, but also you be in a position to lend yourself and other people money as well to be invested in deals. So the whole totality of everything is fuck what everybody else is doing right now on social media. Fuck everybody who buying that YSL shit, Louis shit. Like, fuck all that shit. Take your bag, take your money. I'm not talking about the Louis bag that you bought for $2,400, $2,800. I'm talking about the real money that you get, the real hard cash, and go open up yourself an LLC. Go open yourself a business bank account and go get your EIN number and go get your Duns and Bradstreet number and go get your fucking business credit card and go ball the fuck out. You get me? Because what I'm saying is a lot of people are mishandling information that's given to them for free. There's so much people on Instagram that's saying business credit card. Yeah. Everybody's like, no one's really speaking thoroughly and precisely and clearly on how to go get these things. There's always these big words like SBA, and there's always these big words like, oh, Duns and Bradstreet number, and you got to have your directories and art. It's like they try to play you guys through gimmicks. But what I'm saying is very simple. Go get your LLC, open up a business credit card, go get that EIN number, go get your Duns and Bradstreet number. Like I said, Google Duns and Bradstreet, go get that. After you get your LLC, you get your EIN number, which is irs.gov. You get that number, you apply for it, you go search at the top of irs.gov website, EIN number, apply for EIN, and now you go to the bank with that EIN number, you go open an account, and then now you have a real business account. First step out the way, boom. Now you go on Google, you go on Duns and Bradstreet, you go ahead and get that number for your business. Now you go apply for business credit cards. For business lines of credit, NAV, Uline.com, and you can search for some others. Just type in net 30 accounts. You could do net 60, but necessarily not because you haven't got to that tier yet. So net 30 will be your first establishment. It's like a secured credit card, pretty much. Secured line of credit. And once you have that, everything else is balling. You get me? I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you. I put my sister on it. I put everybody on it. I put my peoples on it. I put my homeboys on it. I put my everybody you could think of. I was like, listen, business credit card. Shout out to Brandon Moore. My mentor. He did a really great job of breaking it down to me. I'm talking about from the minute we talked about business and money, he always came back with solutions. And he provided me with solutions that no one could really think about unless you had business credit cards, because the solutions that he had were always capital based. You get me? You need capital. That's the name of the game. You need capital. If you don't got no capital, you fucked. You get me? You trying to battle dudes. You trying to ball. You trying to compete with dudes who got 6 figures, 7 figures, or they inherited millions and billions and they fund, and you starting off small. So every little bit of capital you could grab, you got to grab it. These families out here who were blessed enough to have enormous amount of wealth given to them, not even built up from themselves, just given to them, from their previous generations, which is a great thing. I applaud them, because that's something I want to have for my family, like a dynasty family, like a real strong family, trust and bank. They're already set up. They don't really look at business credit card like something they need. But you know what they still do? They still go get it. They still go get these LLCs. They still go open up these business bank accounts, because they know the benefits of it. Why do rich people, and not necessarily white people, because I don't want to just say white people are only rich, because you still have black, you still have Indian, you still have Jamaican who are rich people. I just want to assume that everybody who's rich doing the same simple things that poor people don't want to do. Are we mad that they're rich? Are we mad that they're taking advantage of the system? How could we really be mad? How could we not follow the steps of what they're doing? We see them open up LLCs. We see people open up trust. We see them do all these things. But then when this information is delivered amongst the minority or amongst the low income families, it's like we perplexed by the information given to us. I don't know if it's because the moderator or instructor, whoever's teaching it, not breaking it down really fairly simple. But what I'm saying is it needs to be a lot more open-minded people who are willing to go above and beyond and create a name for not only for themselves, but for their family. You get me? Because the whole theory of everything as a man, let alone, is to build and to create and pass it down. You build, you create it, you pass it down. You get me? You don't supposed to hold on to things. So if you can't establish that as a man right now, your mindset saying, okay, I could probably sit down for a little bit, learn the skill of whatever I'm trying to learn, build up my business credit. So when I do fuck up or the money's not coming in like I'm needed to coming in, I don't got to worry about real life happening to me. I don't got to worry about my rent not being paid. I don't got to worry about my son or my daughter not eating. I always have enough, more than enough. And the rich people do this, you guys. They have more than enough money already in capital, but they don't want to run through their capital. So what they go do? Take out loans, take out lines of credit, take out business credit cards. They abuse in the system. You get me? I like abusing the system too. I like milking the system too, because the system is made to be fucked with, right? But it's only going to be fucked with if you read between the lines. No one ever told you there was a limit to the amount of LCs you could have. No one ever told you there was a limit of amount of money you could acquire in life. You get me? People just put a cap on themselves because they see other people do it. So they feel like, oh, he only got one LLC. He only got $100,000, bro. I probably could do 50 or 20 grand. I don't know what I really could do. But, he already probably in the game. He already did it for longevity. So I know he up. No, it's not relative like that. Time is not relative to money, because like I tell people all the time and money is not relative. You could wake up broke today. You could be rich in the next few hours. You could hit the lotto. You could be rich tomorrow. You could be rich the following day. You could be broke again. So time is not relative. You could get rich overnight. You could take 10 years to get rich. But when you do, you can't fail to realize the only way to get there is by still keeping the simple foundations of life, the principles. And that's, don't use your own money, leverage as much money as possible, which is your credit, and then reinvest those funds. So if these things are being offered in society, why aren't we taking advantage of it? Why do we have to see Instagram, quote unquote, influencers posting Rolexes and Lamborghinis and all this bullshit, and going to InvestFest. Shout out to InvestFest. You know, they doing great things. EYL. I'm not saying that brand. But what I'm saying is the people who go, the message that they're conveying, they're making it seem like they can't just teach this shit for free. It's like, I understand you guys are trying to make the hustle work, right? You guys are selling business credit cards, and I mean, not selling business credit card, but selling seminars about how to acquire business credit. But I never seen nobody really come out and say, hey, I really am doing this shit, and I acquired all this business credit card and funding through this, and this. It's always, what is that? It's always, oh, I didn't know how to do that. It's always, oh. So people are constantly learning, but this information is on social media. So is this message actually being delivered and interpreted and comprehended right? You get me? Because social media can only teach you so much, but then there's still the person who's behind it, who's running it. So if they're limiting the amount of information that they're giving you guys on social media, what type of person do you think they are? You get me? On this podcast, I give you guys 20, 30, 40 minutes worth of podcast. Whether you listen to the whole thing or not, whether you listen to my voice, whether you skip it, whether you don't listen to it, I'm always going to make sure I drop all the gems, good, bad, ugly, beautiful, however you want to call it or label it. I try to give you guys everything because it's not for me to keep. My knowledge is abundant. Money is abundant. I will never go broke because God has always provided me with opportunities to keep myself going. And I believe in that. You know, I believe in the prosperity of my words and the things I put out into the universe, because if I'm teaching this gentleman right here or this young lady about business credit, she may take this and this might change her life forever. She may not have no money at all at this point. But if I was able to plant a seed in her mind and she was able to establish that business credit, 2, 3, 4 years from now, she probably running a $6-7 million company. And then just based off the information I gave her today, allowed her to sustain and continue growing that company. You get me, man? If I didn't have no business credit, man, I don't know how I'll pay my employees. If I had no business credit, I don't know how I was going to pay this insurance, car note, all this other bullshit. You feel me? There's a lot that hits people all at once. And having that extra set of income, you guys, I can't urgently say this enough. You need it. You get me? When my father passed away, man, luckily I had business credit. Luckily my peoples had business credit. So we kind of shifted some things around. You feel me? Be able to move some money around. But it was that very moment that, bam, life changed, bro. Life really did change. You feel me? Like things weren't the same no more after my father passed, because now I'm thinking about money different. Like imagine if I didn't set my family up before my dad passed away. You know, imagine if I didn't know about business credit. You feel me? Imagine if I didn't know about real estate, or imagine if I didn't know about financial markets and trust and all this other good stuff. Imagine that. Like really I would have been in a fucked up situation. No one would have ever knew about how this literally would have catapulted my life into like destruction. You get me? If my family wasn't prepared for this. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is I'm giving you guys some real shit. You know, so if I didn't strategically plant the seed of business credit, plant the seed of real estate in my sister's mind and my mama's mind before my father's passing, I would have been in a situation that I would not know how to get out of. Dire situation. I'm talking about fucked up, because money and capital would have been the biggest thing that I wouldn't be able to recover from at that moment, because there's just so much going on. And I thank God for that. And I thank God for business credit. And I thank God for the knowledge. So what I'm saying is I know how it is to be in fucked up situations. I don't have a kid. I don't have nothing like that. But for those who do, and then life is tough on you, the only thing you could just do is take a risk now, because it's like you already done the risk. You did the riskiest shit ever. You had a kid. What else is there now? You feel me? You're not going to let your kids starve. I know that for certain. You're not, because you're a great person, right? You're not going to let your kid see you struggle, because you can't. Your kid can't see you struggle. You're too much of an independent person. You're too strong for your kid to see you struggle. So what do you do now? If things are the same, so what do? You got to change that trajectory of your mindset. You got to change the trajectory of the income. You got to change what you know now. Because now the ball game is like, okay, cool. I got a kid now. It ain't just me no more. It's two of us. I can't just bullshit myself. Now I'm bullshitting this person too. This is a person. This is not a dog. This is not an animal. This is not, even though if that were an animal dog, you still mistreated. But what I'm saying is you're literally like responsible. You know, you could leave the dog at the house and the dog could walk around and eat his own food on the floor. A baby, you can't do that. A kid, you can't do that. So what I'm saying is, imagine if you aren't as blessed to have a partner taking care of the kid with you, but you have this business credit set on the side. and then you're not blowing through your paychecks every month, and you're actually budgeting everything to a point where your business financing is going up, your credit is going up, you have a kid, but you're not feeling it for real because you're not running through your liquid cash, and then nothing is in your name anymore. Your car, your business, everything is in your business name, and now you establish this type of anonymous identity about yourself, not to remain all this private, but just to have this secured and protected life, knowing that if life was to upside down turn you any minute, you wouldn't feel it like the normal person would. You get me? And that's the only thing I'm here to teach you guys about the extravagance of having this business credit. There's so many other things that you could use for business credit. Like I said, pay for teeth, pay for your clothing, pay for marketing, pay for like buying new vehicles. There's a lot, the same thing you could do for personal, you could do with business. So the only thing that doesn't appear on the personal is business credit. So your business credit, like I said, it doesn't appear on your personal. So if you run your personal to get business credit, that's the only thing they're running. They're just verifying you have enough credit history or a bare minimum score to even get that credit card or line of credit or that trade line. But other than that, you're good to go. And after you get it, man, put other people on, bro. Teach other people about the knowledge. Like I said, shoot me a DM, billionaire_moist. Shoot me an email, brightravengroup@gmail.com. I'm always open to give people suggestions. I'm always open to answering questions. I'm hosting classes. Like I said, I'm going to start making more posts to let people know I'm hosting classes possibly every weekend now. I don't know exactly how my schedule is going to be panning out, but I want you guys to really learn about certain things that I know, and I want you guys to have the same amount of knowledge I have. And if you guys want to continue to learn, then, we talk about it outside of, the regular classes I will be having. Private mentorship, join a mentorship group. My mentees, we going crazy. So like, I appreciate you guys for listening and continuing like believing in yourself and not losing focus, not losing determination, because the road to billions is not easy. The road to the millions is not easy. We know this. But once you get to that 6-figure, it feels good. Once you get to that 7-figure, I know it's going to feel like a motherfucking bag. And then 8-figure, oh my God. 9-figure, yeah, we eating good. And then, 10 figures, baby, we up. You feel me? So once again, I appreciate you guys for listening to Road to Billions podcast. It's been an amazing journey. For, like I mentioned before, rate, review, share this podcast for others. Let others know about the podcast. If you have a good thing to say, comment it, review it. Let others know about the podcast. Post on your story. Let's get to getting this money, man. Road to Billions. It's been an amazing journey. Take care.